So this should be an interesting one. Recently, I came across an urban legend or a myth, if you will, that apparently there is a community of little people or dwarves that lived in Riverside once upon a time, and it was referred to as. Now, some of you may be caught off guard and say, like, come on, man, no one's ever heard of that. But there are actually a lot of articles and testimonies that would say otherwise. But how did this rumor come to be? What's the whole story behind this? Back in the 1930s, filming and movie production was taking place for a film called The Wizard of Oz. Now, some of you may recall the public discourse around the most recent Snow White movie and the lack of actors casted with dwarfism to play these roles. Disney instead opting to use these CGI versions instead. What the hell? Oh my god! Back in the 1930s, the use of dwarves to play the part of small fictional characters wasn't considered offensive, but more so just common sense. The production of The Wizard of Oz employed roughly 124 little people actors to play the roles of munchkins living in Oz. It is rumored that these same actors resided in the rumored Midgetville or Munchkin land of Riverside or Long Beach or La Jolla. So here's actually where things get a little complicated. It seems like no one actually knows where this village is really located. There are testimonies online of the location being in a rich country club in Long Beach, a tiny village at the base of Mount Soledad in La Jolla that is being referred to as Riverside for some reason. But then there turns out to be an actual tiny village in Riverside headed to Lake Matthews people claim to have been to. But then that area got bought and now turned into mansions. And apparently there are similar cities or types of communities in Downey and Claremont as well. So a couple things. First, I did not know that these communities were so widespread and abundant to where there'd be like multiple myths or reported locations about these places. I mean, it makes sense in theory. Obviously, they all live somewhere. It's just, I guess, not something you really think about that often. And then another thing is, since the Riverside location isn't around anymore, we're actually going to be making the focus of this investigation the place that most online commenters claim that is still around and you can still see evidence of this. So, hate to be that guy, but after doing some searching on Google Maps, I don't know if this place really warrants an in-person investigation. So this is what I believe to be one of the spots in Bell Gardens people are referring to. I'm pretty sure these are just track houses, not really anything that would be on par with a quote unquote dwarf house, if you will. Yeah, just standard low income housing for families who want their own place. This is another house that I believe people were referring to, which I don't know, just looks like a normal house to me. I guess because you don't have those like standard dimensions of the pointing up part of the roof. Maybe that's what people were thinking, but yeah, no, it just looks like a normal house. So I'm not my usual recording space, if you can't tell. But yeah, just to close out the video, I wanted to talk about something that's a little pertinent regarding the ending. I think, like, I guess the question I had is like, what even is a midget house? If also don't Google that, by the way. Trust me on that one. Uh, like at the end of the day, like they're just like normal people. Like I mean, I know I shouldn't have to say that. That's common sense, but I think in when I'm covering topics like this is something that like I might have to refer to or like something that's just gonna come up. I have to address at the end of videos and stuff because, like yeah, like at the end of the day, we're covering like a lot of crazy, weird conspiracy theories and like these weird rumors, but like sometimes like people just are like kind of like dicks, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, what probably happened is maybe there was like a community of like little people that were like living there, and then it turned into like oh like these little people living in here into like this fantastical like there's these small houses and there's a tiny village of like little dwarf elf people that were like, and it just becomes something other than like what it really is, which is just like some small houses that maybe we don't even know if like little people were really living in. So Yeah, that's kind of it. That's gonna close out the video. Appreciate you guys. Definitely have some cool new content coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. And yeah, let's just say be safe, stay curious, and remember, they are with us.